Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Harvey, thankfully, has weakened as it heads inland. But of course, the devastation it leaves in its wake is almost indescribable. Vice President Pence, he toured some of the damage in Texas today. President Trump expected to visit the area again on Saturday. Unclear, though, exactly where he will go. We're going to go live to Houston now. We're going to bring in Marcy Gonzalez, who's on the ground there. Marcy?
Hi, good evening. You can see the Buffalo Bayou here is still swollen with the water reaching up to the tree branches. This is a huge improvement, though, over a few days ago when the water levels were up above my head. And still, in some communities east of here, the situation remains dire.
Rescuers dropping down and floating in, saving Texans still stranded, surrounded by water that in parts of the Beaumont area keeps rising. The devastation there knocking out the local clean water supply, forcing one hospital to evacuate nearly 200 patients today.
We never expected to lose our water supply.
In Port Arthur, the mayor from inside his own flooded home reassuring residents.
I know one thing, though, it's not going to defeat us. If you call 911 and we haven't gotten there yet, we are on the way.
In Crosby, Texas, officials now downplaying the concerns after fire erupted at this chemical plant.
Exposure to smoke from these organic peroxides is similar to standing over a burning campfire.
About 30 miles away in Houston, the water finally receding.
Look at the high water mark.
Rescuers here in Harris County searching the more than 1,700 square miles that flooded.
We're going by each house, checking door to door.
An up-close look at the damage as officials estimate at least 40,000 homes in this county alone are destroyed.
But 100,000 is certainly not out of the question.
Today, Vice President Mike Pence touring the destruction where Harvey first hit in Rockport as help comes in from across the country for the tens of thousands of Texans now living in shelters and those still trying to make it to dry ground.
It didn't matter what race, religion we all come together in unity to make sure these people are safe.
Yeah, safe, but now wondering what's next. Most of the people impacted don't have flood insurance, and so FEMA says they are working as fast as they can to get people registered for federal assistance. Live in Houston, Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News. Now back to you.
Thank you very much, Marcy. Now, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, they're pouring in to help the victims of Harvey. As of yesterday, businesses alone have given more than $72 million. According to the Chamber of Commerce estimates, the number will grow exponentially. And it doesn't even include the $10 million Houston Texans star J.J. Watt has raised on Twitter. Just take a listen.
We started out on Sunday with the goal of raising $200,000, and we just now surpassed the $10 million mark.
And that number only growing. A-list celebrities also opening up their wallets. Leo DiCaprio, Sandra Bullock, just two of them giving $1 million apiece. And Disney, ABC, they've enlisted big names to raise money today across all their networks a day. It's dubbed a day of giving.
This is Michael Douglas, and I want to thank everyone who's lending their support to those who have been affected by Hurricane Harvey, and to be a part of Disney's Day of Giving.
Good morning, America. I'm Reba McEntire. Thank you to everyone who is lending support to people affected by Hurricane Harvey. To be part of Disney's Day of Giving, please donate.
At times like this, Americans are generous, quick to donate their money, sometimes to a fault. Many people wonder who they should be giving their monies to. Red Cross, always one of the leading groups, but in the past, it has faced some criticism for the way it spent its money, or at least accounted for it. That happened after the massive 2010 earthquake in Haiti, and again after Superstorm Sandy in 2012. But for Harvey, CharityWatch, they've given the Red Cross a B+ for its efforts. Several groups rank even higher, and some of them you see right there on your screen. CharityWatch rates them on efficiency, and it also helps people figure out who to use at a time like this. It also exposes both fraud and abuse, which unfortunately can go hand in hand with tragedy. Stephanie Kalivas, she's one of its analysts. She's kind enough to give us a few minutes. And, you know, Stephanie, I want to be really careful here. I think out of tragedies, more often than not, we see some of the best of humanity. We've certainly seen it in our region. We saw it after 9/11. We certainly saw it through Sandy and the aftermath. But invariably, you'll hear stories later on about people preying on the goodness of people, and sometimes organizations that people will funnel it through that are less efficient than some others. So give people an idea, the do's and don'ts, when they're reaching for their credit card or they're getting ready to write a check to somebody to help in the tragedy that we see unfolding in Texas.
Sure. Well, you're right that Americans are always very generous with their giving in the aftermath of disasters such as Harvey. The big thing is that people shouldn't give too quickly, and you want to make sure you're giving to well-established charities that have a track record of responding in these types of disasters, because it's a very chaotic situation. Unfortunately, there's going to be some bad actors, some scammers, and some fraudsters that are going to try to take advantage of Americans' generosity in this time. So the important thing is you want to do just take your time, do a little bit of research and make sure that where you're giving is to a reputable organization that will use your money efficiently. And you're right that CharityWatch, here we rate our charities based on their financial efficiency. So these are charities, our top rated charities will be giving at least 75% of your donations will be going towards their program services. So in this case, towards the disaster response. And they're also very efficient with their fundraising. So charities, like you mentioned, such as the Red Cross, they are on our top rated list. There are several others. If donors want to go to CharityWatch.org, we have a list of well over 10, 12 charities that they can choose from if they want to give to a different charity than the Red Cross. There are many choices donors have, and these are charities that will use your donation efficiently in this case.
Stephan, you saw the Times piece I'm referencing where they said, it's great to give, but what are we getting for our money? Of every dollar given, how many cents is actually going to the people in need? Is the problem that your organization has found that they're misappropriating sometimes the funds, it's going too much to promotion or whatever else? Or when you're on the ground in the aftermath of an earthquake in Haiti or after a biblical flood like we're seeing in Texas, it's hard to keep track of it all given the fluidity of the situation?
Right. Well, I think, it's more the latter, especially with these well-established charities such as the Red Cross. I mean, the fact of the matter is, as far as short-term emergency relief, the Red Cross historically has been, our nation's go-to charity. And, if it's not the Red Cross, who is it? There's not really any other organization that's capable at this time that has, the resources and the know-how to be able to respond effectively. So while there may be inefficiencies in the response, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, yes, these are very chaotic situations and, people are trying to do their best, but, there are, of course, going to be criticisms, just the nature of the natural disaster.
Hey, Stephanie, I appreciate a few minutes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, everyone, coming up next, while everyone is focused, of course, as they should be on the disaster in Texas, President Trump appointed yet another controversial official, this time at the Education Department. We're going to tell you why this man is causing a whole lot of concern, as well as more than a little second guessing.